Welcome back to my channel. This is Nikki of Nikki's Homemade Crafts. It's time for the Mystery Crochet Along Part 2, and we're making a bag. You already know that, and this is Part 1. In Part 1, you learned 4 different stitches that you can use for this Mystery Crochet Along. I would love to know which one you picked. Leave a comment down below and let me know which one you picked. But let's get into Part 2. Part 2 is going to allow you again some flexibility. I recommend picking the exact same stitch that you used for part 1. Okay, so do recommend to do that. Now, what I need you to think about is a little modification. I'm going to tell you already one little thing that we're going to do. So let me show you. Part 2 is going to have a small little opening right here. Now, this opening is going to make a little pocket. Yes, I'm already going to tell you that because I want you to be able to pick one of 2 options when it comes to the pocket. Actually, I should say 3. If you don't like pockets at all, absolutely don't like them, that's fine. That is option number 3. Option number 3 would be make no pocket at all and make the exact same piece again from part 1. Like literally the exact same piece. So this one, if you don't like pockets, make this one again. Option 2, if you like to have the pocket a little bit visible, you're going to remake part 1 exactly the same way, and then you're going to add the pocket later on top. We're going to make the pocket later, yes, but not right this instant. So you would make the pocket, we're going to talk about the pocket in detail later. You're going to make it and then you would sew it right on top. Do not sew anything yet. We're going to talk about the sewing part in part 3. But this is what you would do. So you can make this pocket bigger if you like. I don't recommend it bigger than a square, and I'll tell you the measurements in a second. But this is what you would do. So if you like the pocket visible, then you're going to remake part 1 exactly the same way as you did. And then we're going to make the pocket separately, and then you can sew it on in part 3. However, if you like option number 1, which is this one right here, the one that I picked, you're going to have a small little opening. Okay, there's a reason for the small little opening. What you can do then in this case is you would have the pocket from the back. You would sew it on from the back, so that way you have more of a let's say invisible pocket, not per se hidden, because you can see that there is an opening right here, but the pocket itself, how big the pocket is not very much visible if it's sewn on from the back, and you have that little bit of an opening right here, and as you can see, create a beautiful little pocket. Okay, so let's talk about it. We're going to break up this video into 2 parts. One, I'm going to show you how to make the little opening in case you choose to pick this option, the option that I picked. And I'm going to show you how to do that little bit of an opening. And then in the second part of this video, I'm going to show you how to make the pocket. So let's do this. So I have my little swatch here, okay? So pretend that I just made here the last row. Now, where is this row? So pretend that I just did this row right here. Okay, so think of this little swatch is this very last row, which is 8.5 inches up. So once you made 8.5 inches, that's when you're going to add that little bit of an opening. Okay, so let's pretend I just did that 8.5 inches, and instead of 10 stitches, I'm just going to make 2 on this side here, just that I can show you how this works. This will be the 2 stitches, which is actually 10 stitches right here. And once you've done that, you're going to make a chain of 21, and you're going to skip 21. I'm just going to make 5 and 5, right? So you're going to make 21 chains and skip 21 stitches. And then you're going to continue on with your normal stitches as before. So that would be 10 stitches. For me, that is 2 over here. So now you can see how that opening is there already, right? So this would be right here. So 10 here, then you make a chain of 21, skip 21 stitches at the same time, and then 10 more stitches on that side. Keep in mind that if you are doing linked treble crochet or linked double crochet stitches, this opening will be a little bit bigger. So I recommend having a smaller stitch in between. So do just single crochet stitches right here and right here in that specific row, just to make sure that that opening is not gigantic, right? Because the linked double and treble crochet stitches are much bigger. So pick one row of just single crochet stitches if you picked the linked double and treble crochet stitch. So once you've done that one row, you're going to turn and you're going to make your stitches as normal wherever a stitch is already. So for me, that would be the waistcoat stitch, right? I'm just going to go right into it. And then once I hit the chains, you're simply going to make loose single crochet stitches. At least for me, that's loose single crochet stitches. If you're doing regular single crochet stitches, then you just do that. It is one stitch per stitch. If you're doing linked double or linked treble crochet stitches, then you're just going to place those right on top, literally right on top of the chains. So there should be, for me, that's 5 stitches. It would be for you 21 stitches, okay, whichever stitch you pick. And then once you finish the chains, you're just going to do your normal stitches at the end here. For me, again, that is the waistcoat stitch. Once I finish, I will turn. And now you're going to continue on as you normally do. So whether it's the single crochet, the waistcoat stitch, a linked double crochet, linked treble crochet, whatever you did, just keep on going. You can see how it creates a little bit of an opening, and you're just going to keep on going until you have the exact same measurements as I mentioned before, which would be 10 across and 11 in height. Now let's talk about the pocket. So my pocket is a chain of 25 and then just single crochet stitches starting from the second chain from the hook, which means I have 24 stitches per row. I picked a single crochet stitch because mine is that invisible pocket, so it's kind of in the back. You don't really see this texture anyways. That's why I picked a single crochet stitch. It does not matter which stitch you're going to pick if it's in the back anyways. The only way to see it is if you peek through here. Now, I made this project 5.5 inches across, okay? And 5.5 inches is just a little bit bigger than my gap. So you can see that right here. So you can see that if I put the 0 over here, it's just a little over, and 5.5 ends here, again, just a little over. So you want it to be a little bit bigger. You can go even wider if you like. Maybe 6 inches, that's totally fine. If you want to do 7, that's fine as well. Just don't go further than that. So between 5.5 and 7 inches wide, right? So that you can put it behind it. And even if you make the pocket in front, I would recommend the same measurement in the width of it. Now, in terms of the height of the pocket, you can make the pocket bigger. Mine is 4 inches, okay? I didn't want a super deep pocket, so obviously you can tell from the bottom that is still left over. There's still a mystery to be done. Remember, I'm not giving everything away just yet. So there's a reason why I made it a little bit smaller, okay? So one reason for me was I didn't want a super deep pocket because, you know, it can drag it down a little bit. So that was one reason. But you can make it a little bit bigger. So obviously if I would sew it on, it would be like right here, right? So pretend that's the back of it. So you would sew all the way around on all 4 sides, right? Because the opening is from the front. And as I said, mine is 4 inches in height. You can go up to 6 inches if you like. And if it's in the front or in the back, it doesn't matter. 6 inches is probably the max that I would go. So across, so height wise, between 4 and 6 inches, I would recommend. Width wise, I said between 5.5 and 7 inches. Okay, so the amount of stitches in rows doesn't matter. Follow the measurements. So this is part 2. You have 3 options in this. You're either going to make the exact same piece again as part 1. the exact same measurements, 10 times 11. You either have absolutely no pocket, or you're going to have a pocket, any measurements that I told you, right? And you're going to sew it in the front. Don't sew it just yet. You're going to need to know where you're going to place it. So don't sew any pockets on yet. I'm going to repeat, do not sew any pockets on yet, okay? But you're going to have it as a separate piece, and you could then sew it on in part 3 in the front. That would be the second option. The third option would be to have a little bit of an opening so that you have a invisible pocket, which is, it's not hidden per se, as I said, but it's kind of in the back. You don't know how big the pocket is because you don't see the seam of it. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then you obviously need to make your pocket for option 2 or 3. That would be that. Okay, so make sure to take a picture and post it into my Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki with the corresponding hashtag. And I would love to know if you already have some kind of guess what the mystery is, because you see 2 pieces here, but there's still something to crochet and put together in part 3. And it's not just the handle. There is still something missing. And that's kind of the mystery, because there is always something that's going to be a surprise factor. Although this seems very straightforward so far, there is still something missing. And you know my patterns, they always have a little bit of a surprise. So let me know if you have any idea of what we're doing here and what kind of bag this turns into. Let me know your guesses. Either leave them down below or post them into the Facebook group. I would love to know. Okay, and I'll see you in part 3, and it will show up here if this mystery crochet along is a little older than right now, which is May 2023. I hope to see you in part 3. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the bell to get a notification next time I publish a video or go live. Now go ahead and watch the next video. You're gonna want to, I promise you do.